If you like a girl, here is what pursuing her in a healthy, masculine way looks like. If you're new here, I'm Blaine and I'm your dating coach. First, before you pursue her, you've put in the work so you feel good about yourself. In particular, you feel like you deserve to be with a quality woman. You're not afraid to make your interest known. You don't use vague lines like, it'd be nice to hang out sometime. You're direct and you say things like, I want to take you out. What are you doing Tuesday?
The difference between healthy masculine versus toxic and controlling masculine. I mean, every woman I talk to wants a strong man, independent, a leader, and all these things. But I said, yeah, but if you want that, you need to be feminine enough to listen to that man. And I was like, all the women are like, oh yeah, I'll just listen to him when he's slamming my head into a wall. It's, Once again, you're taking something very factual and you're making it an extreme.
Society told you to be less of a man. Here's why millions of men are ignoring that advice. Now, let me tell you something nobody else will say out loud. You've been lied to your whole life. You've been fed two competitive narratives about what it means to be a man, and both of them are designed to keep you weak, confused, and controllable. The traditional system told you to get married, to work the corporate job, to sacrifice everything for a family, and you will be happy. That was the script. That was the deal. Except they changed the rules halfway through the game and didn't tell you. Now, the system says masculinity is toxic. Tone it down. Be more emotional. Apologize for existing. And maybe, just maybe, will give you permission to take up a little space. And here's what's actually happening while everyone else is arguing about definitions. Men are walking away from both scripts entirely. They are going their own way, not because they hate women, not because they are afraid of commitment, but because they finally realize the game is rigged. And the only winning move is not to play by someone else's rule. Look at what they did to masculinity in the media. You see it everywhere. Star Wars, the perfect example. The original trilogy showed men as mentors, as warriors, with honor, protectors who controlled their power, men who built civilization and defended what mattered. Now, every male character is either incompetent, evil, or needs to be saved by someone else. They took Luke Skywalker, the hero, and turned him into a broken, bitter failure who needed to step aside. That's not an accident. That's programming. But here's what the 25 times approach teaches us. And this is where it gets real. While society is busy debating whether masculinity should exist, high value men are multiplying their worth 25 times over. They are building businesses. They are getting in shape. They are developing skills. They are creating options. Because here's the truth bomb. When you have options, you don't need validation. When you are strong, you don't need permission. When you are valuable, you don't need to beg. Three things men who have unplugged understand is that one, your value is what you build, not what you were given. The system wants you dependent on approval, dependent on employment, dependent on relationships that can disappear the moment you lose your frame. Red pill men built their own foundation. Nobody can take that away. Number two, the modern dating market is broken by design. They told you to be nice, be yourself, communicate your feelings. And what happened? You got friend zoned while watching women choose exactly what they said they didn't want. The rules they gave you, those were never the real rules. Number three, going your own way isn't giving up. It's leveling up. It's saying, I'm not playing a game where the referee changes the rules based on how they feel today. You want to know what redefining masculinity really actually looks like. It's lifting heavy, reading books they don't want you to read, building wealth they can't tax away. And if you are not high value, you are invisible. So you become high value, not for them, but for you. Here's what they don't tell you about the top 10% of men who are actually winning right now. They stop listening to what society said men should be. They stop chasing validation from women who didn't know what they want. They stop apologizing for their ambition, their strength, their standards. They got ruthlessly focused on their mission, their purpose, and their frame. And you know what happened? Everything else followed. See, if you want the actual playbook, the real rules that work when you are dealing with modern dating dynamics, I've put together a free guide, 10 rules for men in modern dating. This isn't blue pill fantasy. This is what actually works when you are living in reality. The link is on the description of this video. It's free. Download it. And look, I'm not saying become a hermit. I'm not saying hate women or check out completely. I'm saying understand the game, understand your value, and make decisions from a position of strength, not scarcity. Because here's the reality. When you build yourself into a high value man, physically, financially, mentally, spiritually, you don't need to chase. You attract. You don't need to convince. You select. You don't need to compromise your standards. You enforce them. The men who are redefining masculinity aren't asking for permission. They are not debating on Twitter. They are in the gym at 5 a.m. They are building businesses that generate real wealth. They are developing skills that make them irreplaceable. They are creating lives that other men envy and women want access to. They are becoming the 1% while everyone else argues about pronouns and feelings. So here's your choice. You can keep playing by the rules designed to make you lose, or you can create your own game where you always win. Subscribe if you are ready to see how deep this goes. Download the free guide if you want a tactical playbook for modern dating. And remember this, society told you to be less of a man because strong men are harder to control. The fact that you are watching this tells me you are already questioning the narrative. Don't go back to sleep. Share with your brother who needs to watch this. See you in the next one.